Good morning and happy Sunday. This question today impacts every single one of our lives and will take a moment to answer, so bear with me. One return to substance use can make a family act like every bit of progress disappeared overnight. The house changes fast. People stop breathing easy. Somebody starts rereading the text messages differently. Somebody notices a shift in tone or energy. Conversations tighten up. People start watching again before anybody even says what they're really scared of. Now, the family isn't only responding to what happened. They're responding to what they're afraid is coming next. Here's today's question. Why does one return to substance use make everyone act like I'm starting over? This is far too common in households, so thank you for being vulnerable. What families call overreacting is often old fear returning fast. They're not only reacting to one moment, they're reacting to years of emotional history attached to it. They remember the unpredictability, the exhaustion, the chaos, the nights they couldn't fully rest, the wondering whether somebody was okay, the fear of getting another phone call, the feeling that life could fall apart again at any minute. So when substance use returns, even briefly, the body reacts before logic has time to catch up. And after years of instability, quiet moments don't always feel safe. Even when things have been better for a while, part of the family stays emotionally braced. They start looking for signs everywhere because underneath all of it is a fear that says, I can't go through this again. That fear is very real. But this is where families can accidentally start hurting the exact honesty they're trying to protect. They think getting harsher will make the person take things more seriously. They think the checking, the interrogating, the sarcasm, the coldness, the reminders, the here we go again tone is accountability. When people are scared, control starts looking like safety. Fear wants certainty. Fear wants reassurance that the spiral isn't coming back. But a lot of the time, that response doesn't create more honesty. It teaches the person to hide better. And once honesty feels dangerous, secrecy gets smarter. That doesn't mean families stop having boundaries or stop telling the truth about the impact. It means the goal shifts from punishing people into honesty to creating enough safety that honesty shows up sooner. Sometimes the better question isn't, how do I make them feel worse about this? Sometimes the better question is, how do I make it easier for the next truth to show up before things spiral further? Otherwise, the person starts learning which emotions are safe to show, which conversations are safe to have, and which struggles need to be hidden faster. So now the family thinks they're preventing another spiral while the person struggling is learning how to disappear emotionally in the same household. And I think this is one of the hardest moments for families because many people listening right now may feel a painful realization starting to hit them. I thought I was helping when I actually may have been making honesty harder. That doesn't make the family cruel. It makes them scared. But fear can still damage connection when people don't recognize what it's doing. And honestly, part of why families panic so hard is because we judge visible substance use much harder than we judge the kind that stays socially acceptable. For instance, someone can drink every night and emotionally disappear from their marriage, stop being emotionally available to their kids, avoid hard conversations, numb themselves constantly, and people still describe them as functional because they kept the job, paid the bills, and stayed out of legal trouble. Meanwhile, somebody else whose substance use became more visible gets treated like they're morally weaker instead of human. Now, I'm not saying every person's risk level is the same. I am saying impact doesn't become harmless because someone kept it socially acceptable. Both situations still affect relationships, still create emotional distance, still impact trust and connections inside a family. And that double standard is part of why families panic so hard. They don't see a remission cycle, they see a character flaw. Most of us expect grace for our own inconsistency while demanding perfection from people in remission cycles. We can say we're going to eat differently, sleep better, stop overspending, maybe stop reacting so fast, manage stress better, answer messages sooner. And then when life happens, we fall back into old patterns under the pressure. We still expect people to see our effort and not define us by that one difficult stretch. But when substance use enters the picture, people suddenly expect flawless consistency from human beings who who are often carrying years of pain, shame, loneliness, trauma, survival behavior, and emotional exhaustion. That doesn't mean harmful behavior shouldn't be ignored. It doesn't mean trust instantly repairs itself. It also doesn't mean families don't have real reasons to feel tired. But I do think we need to stop understanding substance use only through punishment and moral failure, and start understanding more about remission cycles, because remission cycles are rarely about perfection. They're about whether someone recognizes warning signs sooner, reaches out for support faster, and reconnects before everything completely unravels. If someone used to disappear emotionally for weeks and now says, "I'm struggling, I need help," within a day or two, this isn't nothing. That's a different pattern. Families sometimes miss progress because fear becomes so focused on preventing pain that they stop recognizing when the pattern itself is changing. And underneath all of this, there's grief on both sides. Families grieve stability. They grieve how exhausting hypervigilance became. They grieve the version of the relationship they keep hoping will stay steady. And the person struggling grieves too, because after enough years, one return to substance use can make people look at them like every step forward suddenly disappeared. Everybody is grieving something. The family is grieving the safety they lost. The person struggling is grieving the feeling that no matter how hard they try, people will still see the fear before they see them. Over time, people stop sharing what's really happening. When they don't trust how the truth will land, that's true in families dealing with substance use. It's true in marriages. It's true between parents and children. Human beings slowly start hiding parts of themselves when honesty stops feeling safe. And eventually people stop feeling fully known, even around people who love them. So the goal isn't to make families pretend they aren't scared. The goal is to build a home where the truth has somewhere to go before it turns into a crisis. Thank you for trusting me with this today. If you want to share your story or send in a question for a future episode, you can send me an email at drshannon@kfes12.com. And always remember, you are worth it. Lean into being the best version of yourself, one small step at a time. Happy Sunday.